Jake, it's Pizarnik?
Pisarcik.
Pisarcik. Okay, yeah, get that right.
Not a lot of people get it right, so.
All right. Welcome all campers, especially welcome to our goalkeeper crew. This is the first goalkeeper specific session at the Exact virtual camp. Really excited to have you guys come and join us for something that's so specific to your skill set. Got a couple great coaches with me today to help us through kind of some goalkeeper do-it-yourself stuff that I think, especially right now, you guys are in such a tough position, right? When we think about goalkeeping, obviously we think about getting shot at. And with the current climate, with the pandemic going on, it's certainly thrown a major wrench in how goalkeepers train. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be training, and it doesn't mean there isn't a ton that you can do to separate yourself. And really, as we get ready to get back to the ID camps towards the end of this summer and into the fall, put yourself in a great position to showcase for college coaches. With me today, I have two excellent coaches, Jacob Pisarcik. Close.
Done. Yeah.
It was the head coach at Anna Maria, which is just outside of Boston, a Division III school in Massachusetts. And I have Mike Wensler from Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome to both of you. Jacob, if you could just do a little bit of an introduction and your background, then we'll hear from Mike, and then we'll get into the goalkeeper specific stuff that we're all excited to hear. Jacob?
Awesome. Thank you, Simon, for the introduction. So again, my name is Jacob Pisarcik. I am the head men's soccer coach at Anna Maria College. I came to Anna Maria College back in August of 2017. I was the graduate assistant coach for the fall 2017 season. And then fast forward to March of 2018, I was promoted to the head men's soccer coach position. So since March of 2018, I have been the head men's soccer coach at Anna Maria College. So going into this fall of 2020 season, it will be my third year as the head coach.
Well, welcome. It's really great to have you on board and to be able to help so many of our goalkeepers with, this particularly difficult time. Mike?
Thanks, Simon. As Simon said, my name is Mike Wensler. I'm the assistant for the women's program at Emory University at Atlanta, Georgia. I've been there for 10 years. A little bit of everything, but my primary role is to work with our goal down at Emory.
That's great. So, and just so all of you know, Jacob and I, this is the first camp we've worked together, but he's been sending coaches from Anna Maria to Exact Sports camps since he's been the head coach there. Mike is one of my national goalkeeping directors, and he has followed Exact Sports. He's led the summer programs. He's put together our video programs and training curriculum. So I think both of these coaches have a lot of value in terms of what they can provide you guys in terms of an idea about how to just really improve your training and set yourself apart. So with that, Mike, you want to kick this off and we'll get started?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I want to talk about, since this is to do with goalkeeping specific stuff, I think even given the pandemic and maybe the lack of opportunities to get seen live and in person, the goalkeeping position is a really unique one that a video actually helps out a lot. A lot of goalkeeper coaches, the colleagues that I work with, and I know myself especially, a training video tells us a lot. It gives us a whole lot of information, sometimes a lot more than any game film work. When we're out recruiting on site, sometimes we have maybe 20 minutes to step on a field and maybe see someone play. And if you're the goalkeeper, that 20-minute window, you might do nothing. You might not even be in, if there's another goalkeeper on the squad. So this is a great time for us to see you train, see what you're like, get a really good idea of your technique, which in the recruiting process for myself personally, say, I want to see a training video first, then we'll come see you play. If we like what we see, if we think you have the skill sets for our level and could fit in, then we're going to go out to the field. We're going to watch you warm up. We're going to try and see you in a match. And then we'd want to watch some game film. So in my personal opinion, I think this video is the greatest way to start some of your recruiting process and really, I think, get your foot in the door with some of these coaches by making a video, whether it's training stuff you've done yourself or whether it's the server assisted one. So just jumping into the the different curriculum that we have a DIY, do it yourself, where literally it's you and a ball or two, couple cones, get out there and make the video. And we'll walk through that shortly. And then the other one's server assisted. So basically, if you have a teammate, if you have a goalkeeper coach, you can still social distance, meet all the requirements, but get out to the field and put together a training video that you can start sending out to coaches again to start that process of getting recruited. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through the do-it-yourself video for you to record. All again, 2 balls, couple cones, and you don't even need a goal. Same thing for the server assisted one. Not a lot necessary, but you can create an invaluable tool for you during your recruiting process. So can everyone, I don't know, can you guys see my screen? Right, is it visible? Everyone sees? So the 2 curriculum, the individual and then the server, we try to cover a wide range of skills. I will say for the do-it-yourself one, the one skill that we can't really cover too well is 1v1s, but everything from punching and boxing, cross collections, the different forms of diving. We definitely want to see your footwork. How do you move? We want to see your foot skills. Can you handle the ball? Can you distribute? And then also distribution from your hands. The server assisted one's also really similar. We want to see everything from cross collection, different forms of diving, distribution, footwork, but then also we get a touch on 1v1s a little bit. So to jump in, the do-it-yourself one versus the server assisted, you need to pick one and go with it. If you want to make both, that's perfectly fine, but make them separate videos from one another. And these are designed to be kind of concise. Like this shouldn't be a 30, 45-minute production. When you're all done with the video, we're talking maybe 10, 15 minutes at the top, maybe 20. But the do-it-yourself stuff, there are videos included with everyone, so make sure you watch them. The first one is boxing. Again, it's one of those things that you just, it's an invaluable skill as a goalkeeper. Got to be able to use it when you're in a crowd dealing with crosses, or if you're not sure if you're going to hang onto the ball. But using good, proper technique, using both fists, one fist, essentially just juggling. And one of the things that I want to emphasize through all these, some of these exercises are timed, so 60 seconds. You need to make sure you have a good balance of quality and quantity. We want to make sure you're working hard, you're getting the quantity of reps in, but at the same time, with a 1-minute exercise, we need to see the quality as well. We want to see the good technique. We want to see everything done properly or the best that you can during that time period. So make sure you're not just flying through things 1,000 miles an hour, that your technique looks rough. But at the same time, don't spend so long resetting, taking forever, making sure everything's exactly prim, proper, and perfect. Because a top tier goalkeeper should be able to do these things with great form when they're tired. So you're able to do these things in second nature. So the do-it-yourself video, the first one's boxing, real simple, just juggling, using both fists, and then each one individually. Cross collection, you're going to start on your knees, give the ball a great bounce. It should be hard enough where you jump up and you're able to collect it in the air properly with cross collection technique. If maybe you have some thicker grass or a rougher surface, a way you can modify this exercise is just to start on your knees still, but toss the ball up and then quickly get up and collect it. And again, make sure you have a balance between doing this right and getting enough reps in. So we get to see, if you get 2 or 3 in a 60-second period, you're not exactly getting your heart rate up and getting the work that you should be getting in. Beyond cross collection, this is contour and basket catching. You'll need a wall for this one, or a hard surface. You're literally just volleying the ball into the wall, and you should be able to collect it with your hands. Depending on the surface, it might be a contour catch and you're catching it above your waist, about chest height, or if it's a little bit lower, a basket catch. But again, with this, we're able to also kind of assess, how do you strike a ball? Because goalkeepers should be able to volley a ball well with accuracy and power, as well as us being able to assess your collecting techniques. The next exercise is a similar one, except now we get to see you strike the ball from the floor. Again, you should be able to hit it with enough pace. It strikes the wall, and you collect it with either a contour catch or a basket catch. And again, make sure you're getting the reps in, but you're doing it properly as well. Again, this one will also require a wall. Low ball diving. This is definitely one to watch the video. Make sure you are rolling it from the back behind your leg through to the front. This should make it so you're naturally attacking the ball as you dive. So if the ball is in your right hand, you roll it from the back of your right leg through to the front and get a low ball dive. Something we like to see as you do this, it is 45 seconds. Gradually start to stretch yourself a little bit more and more. Roll the ball a little further away so we can really see you take a good power step and get down for the ball. And you should be alternating each side as you do this. The next one, another one, watch the video closely. It's a collapse dive / extension dive exercise. You start on your side. Let's say you start on your right side. You would toss the ball over and up, then get up as quickly as you can, and you should be diving on your left side and collecting the ball within one bounce. As I said, watch the video. This is another one like the low ball diving. Gradually stretch yourself. So the first few should be a collapse dive. Take a step, and you should collapse on the ball as it's bouncing. As you go through, you should be throwing it a little higher and a little further, right? Giving yourself enough time to get up and get to it. But now you might be leaving your feet. We want to see your both feet get off the ground, really extend. So this is an exercise that really shows a lot in terms of your diving technique. And this one and the previous one are definitely one of those ones where you should get good reps, good quantity in, but quality is a huge part of this as well. So I'd say this is one of the tests we make our goalkeepers do for our fitness test, and it's 60 seconds. We expect at least 12 to 15 as part of our fitness test. Somewhere around 10 should be a good amount of getting good reps in so we can see your skills. But again, you're not really crushing yourself as you would maybe in a fitness test. Foot skills. This is one that takes a little bit more time. And you kind of have one or two options. You're going to need a little wall or a surface to play the ball against, receive it, open it up, and then drive the ball long in between a gate of cones. So you can do this with one ball. If you have 5 balls, that would be ideal. Or sorry, 4, because you're trying to do 4 reps on each side. If not, maybe pause the camera, grab the ball, reset. If you don't want to pause it, run and get the ball, because this is one of those ones where we don't want to have to stand and watch you chase the ball down. So quickly grab it, come back and keep going again, get 4 reps in and go from there. Make sure you do 4 on each side. We want to see you use left foot and right foot. If your non-dominant foot isn't the best, that's fine. We don't expect both feet to be perfect. In fact, actually, more often than not, the non-dominant foot is going to be weaker and the quality is not going to be there, but we want to see you use it.
Real quick, Mike, and Jake, in terms of kind of getting the equipment together, I mean, do you recommend players expand their equipment collection during this time? And are there some easy ways to do that, in terms of maybe having more balls than one ball to kick around and et cetera? I think things have certainly changed, right? From 5 months ago, we were going to soccer practice and I expected you guys to bring the balls, but that's probably not the case right now. So you just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, everyone's environment is obviously a little bit different, and also everyone's financial status is a little bit different. But when in doubt, be creative with your environment. So if you're by a local park and they have a racquetball court that has a wall and obviously a decent space of grass, then obviously you can use that to your best ability. But it is obviously challenging times and everyone has to be a little bit creative. But Mike has developed this awesome curriculum right here for you. Obviously gives you a detailed description and also gives you the videos. So obviously just play around with it, be creative in your own environment, And obviously, yeah, if you can expand your equipment collection, if you can go on Amazon or your local sporting goods website and you can buy 5, 6 quality soccer balls, obviously go for it. But it's basically kind of the investment that you put in will ultimately be kind of the return you get out of it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a lot in that, guys. So that's great advice. Yeah, Mike. Sorry.
No, I definitely say I would agree. I mean, even it's as simple as having 2 balls, you get twice as many reps in. You can get twice as much work in half the time. So 2 is better than 1. And as Jake said, be creative at these fields. Flip a bench over if you need a surface to hit the ball against. If you find you have to be accurate, but a cinder block would work even. You guys are creative. I also teach high school, and I've seen some of the stuff you guys come up with. Kids are creative, so don't be afraid to think outside the box to make your training the best you possibly can.
And look, guys, just know this: the coaches know that you're not at the Real Madrid Academy, okay, or whatever. Like, we don't expect to see Liverpool's field as a backdrop to your training. In fact, most coaches came up without access to even the bare minimum that a lot of you guys have access to. So I think that there is a lot of leeway here, and you're actually going to get a lot of credit if you do get creative with your training and put together some stuff that works within this framework. So just don't be afraid to be bold, guys, because right now, you're going to get rewarded if you just put yourself out there, come up with the best possible solutions to whatever problems that get thrown at you, and get the video made in a way that's going to help a coach make an assessment. In fact, some of those things that you think at the time, like, I can't believe I'm doing this, might be the thing that, Mike said he's watching a video and going, man, did you see the kid? He did this. Sort of like, that's memorable. So, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. If I see a goalkeeper out there flying around extension diving on a dirt pitch, it says a lot that you're willing to get out there to make the video, even in some pretty unideal conditions. Now, I'm not asking you guys to dive on asphalt by any means, but the fact that people are willing to get out there and do it does say a lot. Do something that makes you stand out.
Real quick, one of the questions was from Landon Williams. Where can we find this skill test? We actually have this available in your camp dashboard. All players have access to it's a PDF document, and I'll make sure that I make this available. If all goalkeepers, if you just want to check your email right now, actually, I just got notification. You'll be sent a link that'll take you. It's literally exactsports.com/preparing-a-video-4-camp. Type that in. Mike's PDF's there, and you can start getting to work. And all the videos that he's alluding to will play within that PDF framework for you. So, Mike.
Yeah, and like I said, I haven't been clicking on them. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if it's going to wreck my internet to show you guys. But at the bottom, I'll give it a shot right there. It just shows right there, gives you an idea of what exactly you're doing, along with the diagram that shows the camera angle of where we like it to ideally be. All right, the next 2 exercises are, again, ones that you do a certain amount of reps, but it's got you doing a lot of different things. Like this one, we want to see some footwork. We want to see you collapse dive on a ball. We want to see you distribute with your feet again. And again, this is another one, 2 balls. Got to have 2 balls for this one. I mean, even if one of them's a basketball, start with a basketball and then maybe distribute the other ball. Please don't try and hit a basketball, 40 yards. That will not make you stand up in the best way. But again, or medicine ball, drop the med ball, strike the soccer ball, don't strike the med ball. But again, just simple footwork and then striking the ball through the gate after you low ball dive. This one, I'm going to play this video. Again, there's hurdles in the video, but if you just set up a line of cones, right? If you want to set up a line of shoes, book bags, something for you to jump over. This is not behaving, but basically you bounce the ball, jump over from one side and then back. I'm going to see you jump in a little bit, collect the ball, and then distribute the ball from your hands, throwing it through the gate. We want to see it skip nice and low, see that good distribution, like you're whipping the ball out to your wide back, starting a counterattack. So that sums up the do-it-yourself. Again, if you noticed every single one, you don't need a server. The max you need is 2 balls. And again, if you don't have 2 soccer balls, you can be creative because you're only going to be throwing or serving soccer balls. The next one, as I alluded to before, is if you have a server, if you have a goalkeeper coach or your club coach or a teammate that it's okay for you guys to get out there. You still social distance and everything, but have someone to help strike the ball for you. Um, I wouldn't recommend having mom or dad do this unless mom or dad played soccer, maybe at a higher level too. But this is definitely something where you can have someone helping you. And again, it just gives us another way to see your skills and see the ball being served outside of your control.
Real quick, Mike, in terms
Yeah.
of what would you prefer to see? So if they have access to a keeper coach, is this the preferred framework? This question's coming from Aiden Burns in Tempe, Arizona, actually.
I don't have a preference, to be perfectly honest. I would sometimes say this one because having someone serve is a little more realistic than some of the self-service stuff, like some of the diving and the do-it-yourself. Uh, it's not that it's not realistic. We still see your skills, but it's balls not being served at you. Where if you have a server who can give you quality service, this gives us a much better realistic assessment of your abilities.
Jake, do you have anything to add there? You think that's
Yeah, basically, you as the goalkeeper have to kind of educate, communicate, coach the server and kind of what you want out of this exercise. So, you as the goalkeeper making this film, this highlight film, you kind of have to take self accountability and responsibility, get with the server, whether that's a goalkeeper coach or a club coach or one of your teammates or a parent that played high level soccer, and kind of tell them this is the exercise, this is the service that we're kind of looking for. Let's execute it together. But ultimately, yeah, if you can get a quality server, obviously the quality of the video will be a bit better.
Yeah, and I think just for all you players out there, I mean, the nice thing about a server video is, yeah, you have all the pre-video stuff that you have to make sure you're on the same page with your server about, and you have to get quality serves. But once you actually enter into the drills, you have less to worry about. I think one of the hardest things about the do-it-yourself is just, is the camera right? Is the, am I in the right starting? There's a lot of sort of things to get through your head before you even set up to do the drill. And that in and of itself is a challenge. If you can get a quality server, you're going to be in great shape to put together a really good video. But that caveat's there. The server has to be on the same page with you, and it needs to be a quality service, or else, then it, if it's not that, then there's other issues. So,
Yeah. I mean, this first exercise is a great example. It's doing some footwork in between the cones, getting both feet, then getting set, and the server is supposed to strike a ball right at you. So you'll end up doing a contour catch or a basket catch. If the server can't hit the ball to you, it's tough to show off these skills if they're making you fly all over the place and dive. We want to see you dive. It's great, and there's exercises for that. But the purpose of this one is to show off your training skills, to see that contour and basket catch. The next one is footwork, the low ball dive. Now you're getting both feet in between laterally, and we want to see you get down low again. And again, 90 seconds. We want to see you get max number of reps, get through it. Make sure you're doing proper technique. In between each one, get up, get set, regroup. It doesn't have to be lightning fast, but again, get a good number of reps in and make sure you're getting work in on both sides. The next one, again, footwork is a huge part of our skill. So each exercise has a different aspect of footwork. This was just kind of slowing, like getting up and back and forth in between the cones, getting set. And then as we mentioned before with the server, this one's key. They got to be able to strike the ball with some pace to your side to make you collapse dive. And again, as you go through this, ideally the server starts stretching you a little bit more and more. So again, collapse dive, get a good power step and make the save. And then by the end of it, you should be leaving your feet for those last couple reps, really seeing you get horizontal and get really stretched out on this one. And as we talked about, having that quality server is key here. If they can't stretch you, you can't show off what you don't do. So make sure this one, the service is good. Smoother than a cross collection. So the server is going to drive the ball in, is going to toss the ball up in between you and them. A key here is you should not just be jumping straight up and down. You should have to come up, time, and jump through this. You shouldn't be landing where you started, right? So just like a cross in a match, you don't just jump up and down like you're pulling down a rebound. You have to time the flight of the ball, move your feet, get underneath it, and come through it, right? After you collect it, back to the server, and then they'll drive a ball low and hard into you for you to front smother. All right, a contour, then a 1v1 save. The server is basically going to be 10 yards away. They're going to strike a ball into your hands. And then there's another ball that's going to be halfway in between the two of you. So they volley the ball to you. And then as soon as you collect it, drop it. And you and the server in a foot race to the ball. You might beat them there and get down on it first. They might beat you there. You might have to make more of a K save. So this is definitely one of the ones that I really like. And in terms of a server exercise, it gets to showcase one of the things that's tough to do in a training video sometimes. That's decision making. So sometimes that game time decision making. So are you going to go down for it because you know you have the server beat? Are you going to need to get set, make a little K save because they have you beat? So this is definitely one where you're going to showcase a little bit of your soccer IQ or goalkeeping IQ. One of the things I would stress with this is that there's a likelihood of collision. Make sure you and the server talk, and I'd say some boundaries are established to prevent injuries. Okay. Distribution from your hands and feet. Literally, they play you the ball, and then you clip it in between the gate further away. Then you do the same thing, and then throw it through the gate using proper technique. So you're using both your hands and your feet. And again, this is one where having more balls will definitely be better. If not, pause the video after the service and then grab your balls to reset. But you will need a couple more balls for this one for sure. All right, some footwork. This is the last one, I believe. Yeah, some footwork and then a reaction save. This is the one that gives us an idea of your soccer IQ. Having a goal is ideal, obviously, but if not, again, if you look at the video that's playing, doesn't matter. Set up 2 cones. Hopefully you guys know this. Just remember 8 by 8 is what you need to remember. A soccer goal is 8 yards wide by 8 feet tall. So 8 steps, drop some cones, make yourself a goal, but do the footwork, kind of get your positioning on the near post. And then the server, this is the one that's fun for them. They get free range. They can hit it however they want. They're trying to score on you. So look to make the save. It could be low ball, could be high ball, could be right at you, but it's just a reaction save. But that is everything for the server assisted video and the DIY videos. As we said, if you have the quality server, that's probably going to be your best bet. But if you're doing it yourself, again, the beauty of being a goalkeeper is these videos, these training videos tell us so much. We get so much information from them. We get more information from watching a video like this than watching a field player do passing exercises and juggling or header juggles. You know, it helps, but this gives us a lot more about your technical abilities as a keeper. That's everything. The next thing I really wanted to touch on with this, and this is huge for me. Jake and I talked earlier about this, but this is a training video. This is not a highlight video. So when it says do it for 60 seconds, 90 seconds, if you mess up, that doesn't mean stop and start over. You will make mistakes. We expect to see mistakes, especially for goalkeepers. It's good for us to see the mistakes that you make because it lets us know kind of what do you need to work on, where do you fit in, and also lets us know what do you do if you mess up a smother and then you sit and kind of punch the ground and get upset about it before you start the next rep. Well, you've wasted some of your time, some of your work. You know, we want to see how you respond to mistakes, what kind of mistakes you make, because it's a training video, not a highlight video. So unless, you know, if you're having a train wreck of an exercise, maybe start over. But otherwise, if you mess up one rep, don't start over. Keep it. We want to see the mistakes. We want to see what you do well as what you might not do as well.
I actually was wondering, on that point, how many times do you think, or how do I know I'm ready to take the video? It seems like all these exercises, obviously, a lot of this stuff is fairly standard keeper fare, right? Stuff that, nobody's completely unfamiliar with this sort of thing. If you're a goalkeeper who's serious about this and looking to take it to the next level. But I mean, do you have a recommendation? Sort of, should I spend a week going through things? Like what sort of preparation should I have before I press record? And how can I gauge that?
I would say maybe go
Uh,
one time, a bit of a demo day, and just kind of go through the paces and just kind of seeing what works, what doesn't work. Feel free to kind of take your camera with you, take a couple of videos, see how they turn out, go home, reflect upon it, and then obviously come back the next day or a couple of days later, ready to execute.
I think
I was gonna say,
the more prepared you are, obviously the better you're gonna look. I mean, there is a certain level of comfort that you need to be at before taking on the full exercise, right?
sure. I mean, I would definitely say maybe give it a dry run, no camera, nothing. Just especially some of the DIY stuff. Since you're self-serving, being able to get this stuff down is important to make sure you're able to showcase your technical skills. If you can't volley a ball into the wall and get it back to your hands right then and there, that's like, that's a skill I need to work on. I should be able to strike a ball. So those are things to like try. Also during this time, you should have the ability, you should have the time to kind of be training anyways. We can't be actually at camp, so go out and try this a couple of times so you feel comfortable with it, and then throw the camera out there.
Yeah, no, I think that's the key point, right? To all you players out there is these exercises in and of themselves are great training exercises for you as a goalkeeper. So it's not just purely video. This is just good practice. If you do have a server, great. Let's figure out how to do that. But it doesn't mean you should just ignore all the other drills. Though, the individual stuff is great training for the server drills in the end. Like it's all going to come together in a picture of you as a better goalkeeper at the end. And I think up front, yeah, I get it. It's going to feel a little bit silly when you're out there DIY, just kind of bouncing the ball off the turf and diving and getting in the mud or whatever. And you're going to be like, I look like an idiot. And then it's sort of like, get over it. It's all right. Being a goalkeeper is more important to you than that initial psychological reaction of like, this is dumb, which,
Right. And when you get an email from a coach because of a video like this, it'll all be worth it. You might be sitting at your school saying, hey, I made this video by myself. That's how I got coach's attention. And it'll be a great story.
Well, again, just kind of goes to show how impressed I am with Mike and Simon's curriculum here. With their permission, I'm literally going to take this curriculum and send it to my two current goalkeepers that obviously I have on my team right now and say, hey, along with our summer workout packet, have a look at these videos. Obviously, if you want to get on the field and do some extra work, obviously this is another additional resource. So overall, this is pretty top class stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, Mike. I really enjoyed it. And I think, especially during this time, it's just great guidance to young goalkeepers and goalkeepers of any age. I mean, I think, when we think about the top level guys, the fact is they were doing a lot of this stuff and nobody was watching, and it's not that, they were just they were just in some elite academy or this, that, and the other, and they always had a great coach there holding their hand every day. It's that they're doing all this stuff and they're just obsessed with being a great goalkeeper. And at the point that you get that obsession, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. Like goalkeepers, you guys are a little bit weird anyway. So just embrace this part of the weird and enjoy it. It's like this is the fun stuff. And, getting out there and being able to execute this at a high level is ultimately going to make you a better in-game goalkeeper, which I think is what we all want. I do want to open this up for questions. Mike, can you take off the share screen?
Yeah.
Or maybe I can. And just so the guys can kind of, and women out there, both of you guys, to any players right now, what questions do you have for our goalkeeper coaches? I'm watching the questions come in. We do have a good one from Lucas Craig, a 2022 from Driftwood, Texas. He asked, how many times a week should I be training as a goalkeeper? Like, what's the, what does a normal week look like when you guys are thinking about them taking this on?
That's actually a really good question. One of the things you need to think about is the type of training that you're doing, right? Obviously, first of all, every day is not a realistic thing. But for goalkeepers, there's two types of training sessions. There's either going to be more of a fitness session, or there's going to be more of I used to call it more of an explosiveness session, right? So some of the exercises and the DIY stuff are a little more geared towards fitness, getting, as many reps in as you can without losing the quality. So as you get more and more tired, that perfect technique is second nature. One of the other things you can do is some of the same exercises work, but you reduce the times, but really work on the explosiveness of it. Your rest in between each rep should be a little bit greater. So if you're extension diving, if you try and do 6, 7, 8 extension dives in a really short period of time, each one's going to get a little worse and worse because you're getting fatigued. You're not fully ready and exploding. So on a day when you work more on explosiveness, really working on maybe extending your range, getting a little bit higher for getting on the end of boxing a ball, your work to rest ratio should be a little bit higher. You do a rep, get a little bit more rest, so you've recuperated a little bit more. Versus maybe another day you should have more of a fitness session, where maybe you're trying to get 15, 20 reps in a minute, in that time period. So you're really working on fatiguing yourself. So to circle back, basically, as a goalkeeper, you need to really focus on which type of session you're going to have, and then you should be looking to do a couple times a week. And especially in this time where there's not many other options, because you're probably not going to get out there with your team and train and really, have them get after it with you. But as much as you can, but without really risking injury. Maybe every other day at bare minimum. And Jake might say a little more, a little less. I don't know.
Yeah, and just going off Mike's point there's nothing wrong with a little bit of variety. So kind of plan out your session a bit in advance. So you're going to work on maybe more explosive session. So then again, you have more time in between reps to rest because you're working on your explosive ability. But hey, maybe this other session, I'm going to kind of work just on my overall physique and fitness, and it's going to be kind of towards my stamina. So it's going to be a high volume, high reps. I'm going to be kind of working extremely hard, kind of gasping for air, just to kind of work on my mind, muscle concentration, and then also just build up my general stamina as an athlete.
Yeah, actually, can you just touch on that a little bit more, Jake? So Erica Pierzak, I believe, Erica, 2021 asked, what types of physical conditioning aspects should we be working on right now other than just running? And so I think you're alluding to some things there. Can you guys talk a little bit? Because I noticed that, Mike, during the presentation, you kept saying explosive, 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 explosive. And when I think of explosive, I'm not thinking you're going for a 3 to 5 mile jog, right? Like, we're talking about a different set of muscles. So can you guys talk a little bit about how do I maximize that explosiveness and what sort of, individual training I should be thinking about to make sure that I'm getting the most out of that?
So
Jake?
in regards to goalkeeper fitness, obviously it's different than field players. So as a goalkeeper, you also have to approach your fitness differently than your teammates that play out in the field. So I'm no sports psychologist, so this is just kind of the knowledge that obviously I've just gathered, but a lot of speed and agility. So short bursts of energy through the cones to kind of work on those fast twitch muscles. So there's hundreds of videos on YouTube. If you just look up speed and agility for soccer, speed and agility for goalkeepers, and then a variety of different exercises will pop up. Also too, with consulting a professional trainer, obviously, maybe start getting into a bit of weightlifting that kind of focuses on fast twitch muscles in regards to explosiveness. And then maybe Mike can give you some more tidbits in regards to weightlifting regarding explosive ability.
I'd say just kind of touching more on what Jake said. In the DIY and the other stuff, the footwork exercises, what I would do is in terms of working on fitness, in those exercises, it's 3 to 4 cones that you're moving through before you get service, extend it to 8 to 10 cones. And I would usually drop another cone 10, 5, 15, varying yards away. But then after you do the footwork, 5-yard sprint, maybe do the footwork, do a 20-yard sprint. Think about our position. It's not just running miles and miles. It's when we have to run, it's pretty much a dead sprint. We don't get to just jog out, collect balls too often. So with my goalkeepers and their fitness packet for this summer, it's a lot of footwork exercises in terms of fitness, where you're shuffling through cones. Maybe you're hopping on one foot. You're hopping on one foot doing a zigzag in between cones. That's a little bit more keeper fitness, but also keeper strength that works on the explosive that you would definitely need. In terms of strength, Jake talked about, there are tons of strength or speed and agility exercises that involve like hopping, whether it's on one foot, on both feet, jumping in different directions, different angles, landing on different surfaces. Those are all essential for our position in terms of really training the explosiveness. Because if you think about maybe an extension dive, you get one step and then you've got to leave your feet. That plant foot has to have lots of power in it that you've got to be able to drive yourself off of. So these exercises really focus on that.
Yeah, I think to Jake's point, definitely mining YouTube. I think, just these questions coming up, I'd love to, later in camp, I think we need to do just a goalkeeper fitness special, and we can talk maybe more specifically about some of those things for keepers. Understanding you guys have a different set of needs than a field player and really trying to highlight that, we can definitely prepare some of that content for you. To get to some of the other questions regarding the topic at hand, which was, making sure that you guys understand the DIY goalkeeper packet and the goalkeeper packet with a server and how we can start putting these videos together. A question from Paige Cowenhoven in Truckee, California. I live in a small town where I don't have access to a trainer. Should I reach out to a teammate for help? Is that okay for this server package that you guys are talking about?
Absolutely. I mean, as we talked about, though, I would make sure she understands what you need her to do for each exercise. And worst case scenario, maybe it doesn't work out and you have to do the DIY video. But it's not going to make you worse having her come out and strike balls at you. If anything, it'll be really good for you too. And it also might be good for her to work on her ability. If you need her to strike the ball from the floor into your hands, it'll be good for her as well to work on if she isn't doing so hot with that. But definitely grab a teammate.
Okay. Milena Keene from Santa Fe, New Mexico asks, do you have any advice about goalkeeper leadership on the field as far as directing the defense? Milena, again, we're going to talk about goalkeeper psychology later in camp. I think if I started either of these guys on talking about leadership traits for goalkeepers, we'd be here for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about communication. We're going to talk about leadership skills, ways that you can improve seeing the field, how to watch game footage with an eye towards improving your understanding of the game so you can be a better director. All of that stuff is coming your way later in camp. Ella Martin asks, how do I deal with lack of field space? We touched on that earlier, but Jake, can you just recap that, these challenges? I mean, I know some of these kids are in big cities where it's not always obvious that, that a space is, they have somewhere to go. So what do you guys recommend again for that?
Yeah, ultimately, you just have to be very creative with your own environment. So even too, if you have access to an indoor court, such as a basketball gym, and you can get in there to do your own self-training, own self-video, that works as well. And again, as a college coach that kind of reviews a lot of highlight film, a lot of training film, a lot of game film, honestly, I could tell that, you're just, obviously everyone's in uncomfortable times. So I understand. And obviously if I get a film that, you're training in a basketball gym, or again, your space is not ideal, or your little sibling is running around in the background, again, that's not going to really deduct points away from you. I'm more looking and assessing your overall skill, your overall potential, your overall ability. And when in doubt, honestly, I give you props for making a training film during this time, because again, it's just very difficult, but it goes to show that you obviously are resilient, and you want to put yourself out there in front of college coaches because you have this aspiration, hopefully, of playing college level soccer.
I do have one comment I wanted to make to all the players out there. One of the biggest negatives I've seen when kids have made videos is that there's sort of this, it's almost like you're not going 100%, maybe is how I'd put it. Or like there's sort of a, look, it's hard to be filmed. Okay. We get that. Maybe it's an obsession with trying to be perfect that's getting in the way, or maybe it's, but we can tell when it's not max effort. I think that shows on the film. Is that fair, guys? I've watched quite a few films, goalkeeper films myself, and Mike and I have talked a lot about this because even at our live camps, we make a goalkeeper video. That's part of the curriculum. We know when those videos don't go well, a lot of times it's not the server. It's literally a lack of all out commitment from the player in the moment to make the most out of their 60 seconds. And that's something I think you guys need to be really aware of. When you film this, it's got to be mentally like, I am going for it. And, and I think you have to psychologically make a big commitment there. And it is really hard. The reason I think you need to practice the video is mainly because I just think you have to get used to being like, this is uncomfortable and it's weird. And I'm not going to feel awesome right now. But then there'll be a moment where it kind of clicks. Anything to add on that point, Mike? Or
no, I mean, the fact that you're willing to do it does speak volumes about yourself. Like that you're willing to make this video during this time lets us know that you're committed. This is something that you really want. This isn't, you just hoping something falls in your lap. And kind of circling back to lack of space. If a gym's your best place to do it, there's a handful of exercises on that list you can do. If you don't have 40 yards of space, clip the ball as far as you can within the space that you're allowed. Like we are understanding. Like if you need to make some modifications to make this work, it's perfect. And also the curriculum doesn't get sent to the coaches that you're sending this to, unless you send this video to me. Then I know what it's supposed to look like. But so it doesn't matter if you use 4 cones, 3 cones, if you hit the ball 20 yards instead of 40 yards, because that's all the space that you have. Who cares? The fact it goes back to the fact that you're still willing to do this. You're putting yourself out there because this is something you really want.
All right, with that, guys, look, I want to thank all the players, all the goalkeepers out there at both our men's and women's camps for joining us. I want to thank Mike and Jake, guys. We really appreciate the time and the advice and how thoughtful this discussion was. It really means a lot. Goalkeepers, obviously at virtual camp, for many of you, getting highlight video, getting film reviewed is going to be part of your experience with us. We've given you a guide here. You have time to make this. So my recommendation would be take that time now to kind of go through these motions and really get comfortable with it and begin to put together your video and getting some of these clips together with the goal of being able to keep your team, a finished product. And again, don't take advantage of it. That's what really this is all about. So we wanted to give you some guidance on making sure you maximize that component of the program as well. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we close this down?
I mean, just go out there, try it. Get out there. I mean, it's probably been a while since you've been on the field. Get out there, get comfortable with some of the exercises, get back into the rhythm of things, and start working on it, because we're going to be back playing again before you know it. And the last thing you want to do is look back at this time and think, man, I wish I could have done more. I wish I did more because I could have done more.
Jake?
Yeah, when in doubt, go out there. Obviously, give it a go. And when in doubt, it's going to teach you something. Whether it turns out well for you or whether it turns out not too well, you'll still learn something from it. So when in doubt, just encourage you to go out and try it. And if it doesn't turn out to your liking, then go back out the next day or a couple of days later and give it another go.
No, that's fantastic, guys. I greatly appreciate both of you. Thanks so much for being here. I'm sure we'll talk again in the near future, but until then, thanks to all the players for being here, and we'll be speaking to you again soon. I'll have updates on the schedule and other sessions for you to get involved in shortly. Thank you all. Take care.
See ya. Thanks, guys.